They're coming in 6th place. Why do I ever believe in this team? And you know what's going to happen now? You know what's going to happen right now? Right? Here's the thing. Everyone's talking about DRX's mental, right? And oh, aren't they good? Haven't they survived? You know what else hasn't happened yet to them? They haven't lost a map yet. That's where their mental crumbles. They haven't lost one of these games yet. That's why their mental has stayed strong. Because yeah, it's easy to keep your mental there when you win these big overtimes. That's easy to do. We won. So today we're going to talk about the angriest I have ever been watching a pro team play Valorant. Because today we're going to take a look at DRX in the upper semifinals of a tournament, playing on Breeze, the defensive side of Breeze, against a team wearing black and green, and they're going to go to the A site, the attacking team, 10 out of 12 rounds. And they're going to win this half 10-2 against DRX. And if that sounds familiar to you, that's because all of those things have happened not once now, but twice. Because it happened yesterday against Loud, but those exact things happened in Masters Copenhagen as well against Optic, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at both of those games and compare and contrast and talk about what DRX did wrong and how they just clearly did not learn from the absolute embarrassing defeat that they had to Optic, and they got embarrassed again by Loud in the exact same circumstances. And so what we're going to do to start is look at the bonus round from both games and see basically the general setup that DRX are taking. And funnily enough, DRX, this is going to be one of the 2 rounds they actually managed to win in this game versus Loud. But the crucial thing is, it's going to require them to get some kills that they aren't really meant to get, and it's going to look very sketchy at some points to win. And you're going to see that that seems to be DRX's general plan of how to win these defensive rounds. Hope that someone can get some kills that they aren't really meant to get. And so let's take a look at their setup. And we'll start off here with this Viper wall here, because this is a wall that I don't really see from a lot of other teams, but DRX seem to love this wall, as you'll see. But, you know, it has a couple uses, right? It obviously creates this little pocket here towards Hall that someone might, you know, sneak up in Hall for them and come down here. They never do, but, you know, in theory they could, but they never will. And, you know, it also could be used as a retake wall. It creates a bit of stall as well for getting deeper in onto the site. And so it's the wall that they like to use. And the crucial thing here for me is who is defending this A site. Now, what's going to happen here in time is that Mako, I think, was maybe just a bit late in getting set up. And so he is actually going to come back here. And normally they do have the Jet and the Viper here on A. But they never put the Viper Orb, or very rarely put the Viper Orb in towards A main. And so they basically don't have any defense for A main. And that's going to be a common theme, right? And so what you're going to see here is that Aspas, again, they never have anyone in Hall's DRX ever. And so even though that wall is there, he just runs past it because they never have anyone in Halls. And so what happens is basically you get Buzz here who's on the Jet on a site. And this is a very common occurrence, right? Because Buzz is going to be tasked with trying to defend A main. That is something that a Jet cannot do. And normally, Jets on this map tend to play, you know, in kind of this position, right? They like to get aggressive down towards elbow. They might come down here in mid as well and get aggressive in there, right? And that's kind of the Jet's job, right? To potentially be a bit aggressive, you know, play on an aggressive angle and maybe try and find a kill. You don't get many Jets trying to defend A main because they can't. And DRX apparently, again, did not learn that from the Optic game, as we'll see. So Loud start to come in. They open the door. But this is where Mako actually has his orb because they've been destroyed by that before. And Loud start to come in onto the site. And as you can see, he's kind of just all alone here, Buzz. He doesn't know which angle to look at, right? He's a Jet. He doesn't have a great escape at this point, right? Because he doesn't know if they're coming around here and he would die from there. And he doesn't know where they are exactly here either. He's a Jet. He has no real way of helping himself here. So what happens is he ends up looking both ways and dies right there to Stadak. And as I said, they are actually going to win this round, DRX. Loud are going to play a very passive post plant, but you see how easy it was for Loud to get into that site and get that first kill onto the site. That is a very common theme for DRX, that, you know, someone will die in on the site. They don't really play retake too often. This is actually one instance where they do. You see that Loud are going for more of a kind of lineup strategy. Well, what happens is they are eventually going to win this round. It's going to become very, very tight in time. as they can't really get on the spike. As you could see, the Viper Molly there was just about to go, but it comes back on. Stacks just about manages to get to half, and as I said, RB is going to need to find, you know, a couple kills that he probably shouldn't have really got, and had he not got those kills, they probably lose that round. Now let's go to the bonus round of the Optic game, and let's take a look at what's going on. Notice anything familiar? Maybe this Viper wall is the exact same? Maybe we have the exact same two agents here in A main. Let's see how hard it is for Optic to get out of this choke point. I'm sure all of you can see where this is going. And this time, they're actually going to lose this bonus round instead. So Optic, they've got the A wall going for them, right? They're going to come in, they're going to drone in, and actually it's not going to start great for Optic either, but those same sort of questions that you saw Buzz struggling with, this time it's RB on Jet because they had a bit of a role swap, but you're going to see that it kind of gets a bit chaotic as both the Jets see each other. He kind of dashes into the wall as well, but eventually he does manage to get a kill. They then end up in this position. You'd think, okay, 5v4 against a bonus, right? They should be pretty good at this point. But the drone comes in. It's going to spot a couple people. This is going to be another common theme as well, that a Sova drone absolutely destroys them very, very often. And so this drone, I'm not even sure if it does see RB here, but it definitely sees these two back here. And so it's going to cause them some problems, right? As Crashy's here, I think it's Crashy's. Well, Yay obviously sees RB. Yeah, Crashy's comes swinging around that corner. And it was the same problem that I talked about for Buzz, where he doesn't know which way they're really coming round. That's going to be the same question here for these two, that they're going to basically get trapped in this spot, not knowing which way, you know, they're coming round. Zest takes a 1v1 fight there. You know, ends up dying there. You can see it right there, right? It was Buzz again. Like, you know, he's looking both ways. He doesn't know which way to look. And what ends up happening instead is they both end up looking at Marv. They do manage to get one kill, but Crashy's has come around the other side and got that kill. So we end up in a 3v1, and Stacks is forced to retake in this horrific scenario, being in a 1v3, 1v4. That is another very common occurrence, that Stacks will end up having to retake in 1v3s, 1v4s, and obviously he's not going to be able to do that a lot of the time, and so they are going to lose this round. But then this causes them a second problem, as we'll see in this instance here from both games, where because they're so bad at defending A main, and it's so easy for the opponent to get deep in onto site, they then don't know how to defend against mid splits and A splits instead, right? Because they're so worried about this that they kind of completely forget sometimes about what's going on elsewhere, and they don't have the protocols set up to deal with it, probably because they're so busy thinking about what's going on elsewhere. So what happens here from Loud is we are going to see just that, where they're going to end up running up in holes. Again, no one is there from DRX, because no one is ever there from DRX, even though they do this wall that, you know, you would think they would maybe try and use sometime. They don't ever do that, and so you see Loud gets super deep in holes, again, as they are wont to do, and they actually pop a KO ult. And so, you know, this is quite a common play to pop the KO ult in holes, so it hits as many people as it can. You do this jet smoke, you flash out of it. You see they actually send 2 flashes out of it. And again, we get people getting destroyed by the drone. The drone comes in. They don't have any way to deal with that, so Mako gets pinged by the drone. So these guys know where Mako is, so he's now in a lot of trouble. And so guess what's going to happen, right? Mako's going to die to Sadek because they know where he is. They also, on the other side of the map, they managed to get Stacks as well, but then here Buzz is going to be able to get one, but Sadek is going to be able to get him. Now Zest does manage to trade it out, but we end up in this 3v2, and again, they are very vulnerable to these A splits, and they are going to lose this situation as well. Obviously not ideal. They don't really know where this Cypher could be looking through mid, right? At this point, they could all really be anywhere, and so it's a very difficult situation for these two players, and as I said, you know, they get so worried about A main and not knowing how to deal with that, they get destroyed by a Sova drone again, and we end up in this situation where, yeah, it just becomes very difficult for DRX to retake here with just a chamber and a Sova, and they end up losing the round. But now let's come back to the Optic game. Surely this didn't happen here. Well, let's take a look at this round, where Optic are going to go for a fast mid-split this time through the doors, and this time they're actually going to put up a deeper Viper wall. They send in a flash here. RB's caught off guard, dies straight away right there, and here we go, right? Dart comes in. It's a good execute by Optic, don't get me wrong, right? Viper orb there, Dart on top of the pillar, right? It's a good execute, you know, good flash, get the dash in. Well done, right? But again, DRX just don't really have any ways of dealing with it. And guess what's going to happen? Mako's going to get seen by the drone in this corner, and he's going to be screwed, right? That's going to happen again. He's about to die in that corner to Yay right there as he gets seen by the drone. Similar sort of story. Zest dies on site. We end up in a 2v5 again, right? So this is like just a common occurrence for DRX, and you can just see the same things just keep cropping up over and over and over. But you know, it doesn't really matter. They don't really have any great ways of dealing with it, and this is just going to be an absolute demolition here as Optic take the last round of that half. And so one thing DRX tried to do after we get late in the game and they've just kept losing and losing on A is one thing they try and do is bring an op. As you can see, RB has an op here. They bring the op over to A instead, right? Hoping that that can cure their problems. And they also like to have this kind of just hope and pray and be aggressive in A main. Hope that you can find kills. And so let's take a look. And this is one of their adaptations, right? Put an op there and get aggressive in A main. Let's take a look at that, because what we're going to see here is the Buzz is going to try that. He's going to try and be aggressive here in A main, as you can see, and he's going to peek out. He's going to try and find that kill. Ultimately, he doesn't manage to find that kill, and you know, he goes wandering, and he's hoping that he can, you know, make a difference here. And we get the op pushed up, you know, as well with it, right? So you know, we got this op pushed up at this point as well. You can see they're still worried about that A split though coming in. And Loud, you know, after seeing that aggression, they take their time, you know, and they actually have Aspas, you know, really pushed up there as well. Actually, the drone from Zest this time is going to see that Aspas is pushed up very deep in holes again, because they never have anyone in holes, don't forget. You know, that's still all the same. Drone comes in again. Guess what? They get destroyed by a drone. RB gets seen. He misses the shot, has to TP away. They're in onto the A site. They come in for free again. They don't care about this Viper wall that they're putting up. And again, it's the same things. Viper's Pit goes down in this instance. Actually, they do manage to find the first kill again on Aspas here. I mean, that shot, I think it did hit, but didn't get a kill as it went through the stairs. And so now, though, Viper's Pit down, 4v5. Let's see how they do this. You know, they have Stacks, who's their flasher, right? You think maybe, you know, he would be kind of what they need for this Viper's Pit. Hope to flash into it. I mean, Sadak even tries to really help them out there with that peek. I really don't know what Sadak was thinking there. You know, peeking through that Viper's Pit just on his own, completely unsupported. But you know, eventually they're just going to pick them off, right? They have the Viper's Pit down. They actually put a trip inside it, which was pretty cool from Loud, to be honest. They just start spamming towards the spike. They find these kills very easily. Oh, look, that flash finally came out. You know, it's an easy round for Loud in the end as they win a 3v5. And did I ever mention that they like to do unsupported aggression on A with an op and bring that over to A as well? Because if we take a look at the Optic game here, oh, look, Buzz has an op. And look where he is. Oh, he's on this A site. So we see what Stacks does here. Now, this time it's a Sky instead of a Jet, but let's see what Stacks does here. Do you think he's going to peek around this corner? And as I said, how do they win rounds? Someone popping off and getting kills that they probably shouldn't. And in this instance, it's Stacks. And so he managed to get that first 3 kills and really set them up. But again, op towards A, you know, aggression, missed op shot as well. You know, it's all the same, right? We're all just living in an endless time loop, it seems, with DRX here, as everything is the exact same. Stacks, after, you know, pretty much trying to win them the round, and it's funny that the 2 rounds that, you know, were won in this video, you see, were people basically, it was RB in one round, it was Stacks in this one, just getting kills that, you know, they probably really shouldn't, you know, maybe where they should have been traded out, and had they been traded out straight away, you know, they probably do lose this round. But instead, DRX finally managed to win a round here against Optic. And it was because, you know, they did the same things that they always do. They have the same kind of ideas to fall back on. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. The only way they win a round is if someone pops off. And it's really, really frustrating, right? Because you see that they're just failing at the same things over and over and over again, right? The Sova drone always finds someone, always pretty much guarantees a kill for anyone on site. They do the same Viper wall over and over again that just gets disrespected over and over again. They never push it holes. They never really do anything as a team and try, you know, coordinate some sort of defensive aggression or something like that, right? They never try that. They still stick with it. They put the Jet on A all of the time. It doesn't work ever because the Jet just can't defend A main. And so people just walk out A main all the time for free with no challenge whatsoever. And DRX struggle and they lose all of their rounds because of it, right? And so this same thing just happened again and again and again, and I was just so sick of seeing it, and I just got really angry at DRX for, even though they had months to potentially fix this, and you would have thought after getting destroyed, you would try something else on Breeze, they refused to, and to me, that was a big failure for DRX, and honestly, it cost them that game.